Hi everybody, Jason Klom with another comedy album a day for 2017. Go to youtube.com/comedyonvinyl for the full video. Tonight, again, this is Women's History Month, so I am doing all-female comedians for all of March, and hopefully beyond. I'll have a lot more, but tonight, I listened to 1961 Sin-Sational by Rusty Warren. This is her third album. Now, I only skipped Knockers Up because I've talked about it on the podcast before. I have heard it before. And I just wanted to start listening to the ones I haven't heard before. I got excited. I thought it was signed for a second. I mean, I've got an autographed copy, but I thought it was like an old signature, but it's not. This one, if I'm not mistaken, was recorded in Detroit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so at the Club Alamo in Detroit, it's very much the same as Songs for Sinners and Knockers Up. I mean, it's her doing her cabaret act, her song and dance act mixed with just tons of great crowd work. And the thing I noticed this time, and I don't know if I'm noticing it as an element of this album on its own, or if it's an element of all the albums strung together, as I'm listening to them go. By the way, my hair is beautiful. That is a great little thing that's going on there. But this album feels so much like group therapy. There are some songs on here. I wish they were better listed on here. This is they don't really have solid track listings normally. Although this one does on the record itself. Side 1 begins with "Let Me Entertain You." There's mother-daughter talk. In quotes, "Don't do it." The whole album is themed behind. I mean, they're always themed behind, breaking women out of their shells in terms of, sexual liberation. But this album is specifically about the damage that parents and specifically mothers can do to their daughters by telling them, don't think or speak or ask about sex. You'll find out about it later when a man does it to you. And that's what the whole album is about. And she plays with it in a fun way. I mean, she doesn't exclude anybody. She talks to the men too. And she gets dirty. She talks about playing doctor as a kid, which, I mean, there's not a lot of stuff at the time where you're listening. I actually noticed listening to this, I need to listen to more Red Fox, but in listening to Red Fox, he was kind of all over the place. Listen to his first album. It's a lot of fun, actually, and it's not, the early stuff isn't that dirty. It's just, like, risque for the time. And listening to Red Fox, it's not necessarily thematic. Rusty, and again, I don't know how much thought she was putting into the themes at the time, but it does seem like she put a lot of thought into it. I never actually got to ask her about, like, how each album was different, how each show was different, how she was, because these are a year apart, a lot of these, or some she's doing 2 in 1 year. But this is just so thematically strong, and obviously, I mean, the title doesn't tell you anything. It's just another, it's to grab you. And, she's making a cute face, and she's got that amazing red hair, and it's just to draw you in and buy the album. You're like, oh, it's a grown-up album. But what's funny is there's plenty of stuff on here is like, there should be a woman president. Yes, of course, we all think that now. But then, she goes kind of the typical route of saying, well, I could use my feminine wiles to take care of the biggest problems in the world right now, fix the Cold War, by doing that, which is like, but the thing is, that's also what's kind of, since it's a woman saying it, it's got a lot more power to it. And I like this album, but I also, again, my favorite part of it is this whole, like, let's talk it out thing that she's doing so subtly, which is, don't we all remember how our mothers didn't let us think about sex or talk about sex and wouldn't answer any of our questions? And then once we get married, basically, don't do it, is what she says. And then once you get married, go do it. What the hell is it? I don't know how to do. Nobody told me anything. And I think that's just remarkable. This early, 1961, are you hearing a lot of that? No. I mean, was Lucy even still on the air at this point? But, this is just a really solid, wonderful album. I love the first one. I love Knockers Up. This one is the first where I caught on to the theme and listened for it the whole way, and it's just there. There's a wonderful through line, and she just belts so. I just love her voice. She's just such a great singer. She's doing just, like some regular tunes, but she's belting. She's got this growl that she does that's really intense and fun, and like obviously got people. I would love to have seen her perform, though. That's the one thing I'm missing. That said, seeing pictures of her, having met her, and hearing her voice, that voice really telegraphs a lot about how she was probably performing. I imagine she was moving a lot on stage and stuff, and I don't know. It's a very, 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 very energetic album. There's no reason to not listen to the whole thing all the way through. I mean, there's so much fun. You don't really stop one of these in the middle. That's why it's a good party album. It just keeps going. Not rapid fire jokes necessarily, but the energy keeps going. And the jokes are all fun. I mean, there's not a groaner on here. Like, they're goofy and silly, and it could be her delivery. It could just be Rusty delivering them, but that's okay. That's what makes a good comedian. So, yeah, Sin-Sational is also a ton of fun. Follow us at Comedy on Vinyl, wherever you can follow people. Subscribe here on YouTube, and spread the word. Hashtag Comedy Album a Day. Please. Thank you. And check out Rusty Warren. She's still selling albums. She's still selling stuff at rustywarren.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, have a good thing.